What's Good podcast.
What does a day in the life of Karen consist of?
Ooh, that depends on the day. um, so the day consists of I'm a mom first,
Mhm.
and they're grown kids, young adults or adults, should I say? The adults. So it's nothing fancy. I wake up, I do my prayers. I'm a Christian girl, and um breakfast, the regular thing. And then I'm always on the computer or trying to figure out different ways to promote my business, different ways to formulate and reformulate what I have and stuff like that, make products and advertising. That's mostly what I do because I don't have a 9 to 5 at the moment. I just before the pandemic, I got hurt on my regular job, so
Oh,
I'm
wow.
home for now. But this is good. It's been a blessing.
So good. And I can't wait to get into that story. So, Becky, I can't wait to get into the story. Like, it was a
Oh,
great transition to the genuine conversation. So, how I usually start it off is who is the guest? So, for you, who is Karen?
wow! Just a Jamaican girl living in New York, living my best life,
Come on, best life.
my best blessed life.
Yes.
Yeah, mom of two and a business owner. That's me.
I love it so much. So, as you mentioned, as far as the transition, because we talked about it a little bit before we started recording, you quit your job right before the pandemic, and then what was your thought? Well, not quit. You said you got injured, right?
Yeah.
So, what was the thought process when you couldn't work anymore? Like, what do I do next? Like, what was your mental at that point?
Ooh, I think I was losing my brain cells daily
Mm-hmm.
because I was not on that job for a long period of time before I got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It was only a couple of months. And prior to that, because of illness, I wasn't working. And I was excited, I was happy, overjoyed to be back in the workforce. I have my stuff that I make for myself. I never I never thought of doing it full time, and it was nagging at me, not like getting at me, and I was like disobedient
Mm-hmm.
because not listening to the inner voice,
Mm-hmm.
and I keep putting it off because I've been thinking of it for years and I never did it, and the it seems like a blessing in disguise. When I got hurt at work, I had nothing else to focus on, and I had to try to focus on something else. And I just said, I think it's time. So I just dived right in, and that's how I started.
So that's so good that you mentioned that because I still have my journal to this day, how I started the podcast, right? When you were in that moment of like writing and journaling and praying, was it a situation where you were like, I'm lost, help me get here, or I have a feeling of what I need to do? Because you mentioned your inner voice was telling you, okay, this is where you need to go. What did that look like for you to move forward with KJJ Gold Looks?
Um, it was more of me stressing, but for the wrong reasons.
Mm,
Like I said, being disobedient because in my head I was like, I mean, yes, I use this stuff for me. I use the stuff in my house, but nobody will want it. I don't know, or will it work? That
mhm,
was like a fear. So getting injured that time kind of pushed me towards like, hey, wake up. There's other stuff you could do. I couldn't physically go to the location anymore because of my injury. And I have my children with me that could help me if I need help, because I my hand got hurt
Mhm.
and I ended up having surgery. So I have them and they could help me if I need to pick up stuff, and but the hard-headed me that say I could do everything by myself
Mm.
was just fighting against what I know I can do.
Mhm.
So, but I have my prayer box, and I usually write and put stuff in my prayer box. And one day I was like, one night I couldn't sleep. I was up till like 5, 6 in the morning, still not sleeping.
Mhm.
And I said, you know what, let me just write.
Mhm.
There are times when I write, put, so when my prayer request is, it comes through, like God blessed me with what was on my heart, I
Mhm.
usually take that paper out. So
Mhm.
when I went to put that in, I said, wait, I have not taken out anything for a while. Like, what's going on? So it's like an epiphany or a light bulb or something that went off.
Mhm.
I was looking in and I noticed something and I said, wait, this was not supposed to be in there because it actually happened. Like, do you like give me the, how do I say it? Like, what is it that you would like to do that will make you happy, that would make you content
Mhm.
without being overly worried?
Mhm.
Like joy. I was working on joy. And I was like, wait, the inner voice, like I was getting my answer already. It was still in my box. Like it didn't need to be in there because this was the joy that I was seeking, something that doesn't stress me to the point of, ugh,
Mhm.
was this. I'm like, I took it out and I prayed. I wrote something else and I put the one that I just wrote in.
Mhm.
And that's how it started to, like I said, unravel maybe step by step by step. And the next day I got up and I ordered a bunch of stuff that I needed to start. And that's it. That's how it is. That's it's been since that day until now.
Wow. So, like you mentioned with the light bulb, because I was definitely, it was like a tip of my tongue. I was going to ask you when it comes to releasing that control, because I know for me, I'm used to being in corporate because it's a safety net. So I had to release that control of me just going with the flow and just being faithful to what God called me to do, right? So for you, as you mentioned, was that a light bulb effect of releasing control when you saw my this prayer has already been answered?
Yeah, like if you had asked me if that prayer is answered, I would have like, no, like no, for real. But when you think about it, there's certain things that your prayers are answered, but you're not paying attention to know it's there, it's been answered, and you keep asking, but you already have the answer. It's just for you to focus. Like, wait, think about it. So that light bulb, I mean, I think it went off at the perfect time.
Mhm.
So it was just the right time. It was a time that I needed to sit, be quiet, be focused because I'm like a night person. I'm more night is like I'm more wide awake. I'm more um I could do more at night. So I focus more, and that was one of the times when, like being up all night, the wheels are spinning, worried about the wrong things.
Mhm.
And then it's always for me, it's always prayer, it's always going seeking God, it's always that's always my peace.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it was a perfect time.
Beautiful. And so at this point, what type of products were you making at home? Because you mentioned you were already doing things for yourself and your household. What type of products were you already making?
Like I made soap for myself. I made body butters, the hair stuff for my hair, and have my hair oil and stuff like that. Just little stuff because I have like the list of my allergies, I
Mm.
can't mention it. We'll need a whole day. So me having it started like the push to do it was not for the masses, was more for me because I have sensitivity to coconut, so I can't use like the regular stuff and most of the stuff out there to put in my hair, stuff like that. It was a lot for me, and I used to buy this thing from Avon that, trust me, used to work on my skin so bad, this crazy dry skin that I have.
Mhm.
And after a few years, it was just not working, not
Wow.
working. So I tried to find a way, and for me first, and then I had family members that my children used the lotions and stuff,
Mhm.
and my sister-in-law and my ex-sister-in-law, which is still in my head, my sister-in-law,
Mhm.
um, bought told me like, go ahead, buy. I would like to order. Like my first big order was from my son's aunt, and she said, you could do this, because no matter how confident you think you are with doing something, sometimes there's just this little extra push. And
Mhm.
she's like, you could do this. And I was like, yeah, I'm just trying. And she's like, no, this is my order. Get a pen.
Ah,
Before the website, before any of that, she, yeah, she was like, get a pen, get a paper. This is what I need. This is what I was like, okay, we're doing this. Yeah.
this is real.
And that was a big order. That was a huge order. And then my sister-in-law said the same thing. Said like, oh, the stuff you made for Nini, can I get some? Like, okay, so yeah. And then after that, I did the website and opened Instagram because
Wow.
I was not the social butterfly.
Because we're going to get into that too. But before we get into that, I want to ask you, you, of course, were making it for family. You were, of course, making it for your friends. And now that you have a website, it's like, now I'm putting my brand out there. What was the research to figure out, what I can put in my products now versus what I can't put in my products? Is this going to be for everybody? I know my people like it, but now I got to make sure other people like it. What did that research look like?
Oh, a lot of sleepless nights.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of sleepless nights, and um oh, you don't want to see my books. I write and do notes until covers are ripped off, things like that. But I have my original book that I originally have, my very first recipe, and the fact that that book is like a 5 by 7, because in my head I thought that's what I need, but I graduated to bigger books now. But
I understand. I
that
understand.
little book was that I still have it with my very first recipe. And what I wanted to do was to make stuff that does the job with the least amount of I didn't want to have all these chemicals in the stuff that I make, and then I wanted to have the least amount of ingredients with the most effective, if to be most effective with something that is not crazy over. I've researched a lot, and there are certain things that I found out that, oh, but I could do without that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it still works. So it was a lot of sleepless nights. My children will tell you, Mommy don't sleep.
So how did that look like with you balancing, like you mentioned you do have a family, and then of course you're a formula, like you formulate your own stuff. Sounds like you have your recipe book, you have the different things and products that you're curating. How does that look? What does that look like to balance your business and also the family?
Um, it works because mainly because my children are much older. They are in their 20s,
Okay.
early 20s. So they're my daughter's a teacher. My son, he's in college. So they are doing their individual thing.
Mhm.
even though we are still a family unit.
Mhm.
But I think it's easier because they're older, maybe.
Mhm.
So it's not that I don't pay attention to them,
Mhm.
but they don't require as much as younger
Mhm.
children.
Mhm.
So I think it balances. I annoy them with my stuff because like trying this new scent. Can you like smell it? Tell me if you like it. My daughter, she gets most of me saying, "Oh, can you tell me if you like this?"
Mhm.
More than my son.
Mhm.
But they're very helpful, and I am blessed. I really am blessed.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So within your journey, what is one elevation moment where you can say, even though I started here, I know I'm like at this next place in my life with all the research that you've done, and you can go back and say, okay, that research was for a reason.
Mm, wow. Um, it's I could think of a whole bunch, but a specific thing happened a couple days ago where my a customer of mine, she sent me some before and after. She has eczema, and she sent me the before and after with the eczema soap. And I I was looking, I was like, wow, it's like validation to me, and then like you said, elevation, because makes me it makes me think like, okay, the moments when you're down to thinking like, maybe check your thing today, there's no order, you maybe had checked it, stuff like that, that will maybe get you down. When I looked at that, I was like, okay, the purpose is being fulfilled. Like, it's it's doing what it's supposed to be doing,
Mhm.
and I don't have to. It reminded me about, not to stress about certain things, or not to worry per se, because if I don't sell to 10 million people and I'm selling to one person, that it's effective, it's helping, it's working,
Mhm.
that that's comfort.
Mhm.
That's making me think like, okay, you are reaching who you're supposed to reach, or you're helping the person you're supposed to help. So that,
That is a nugget. That is a nugget. I need for you, as far as part B to that, explain why that is so important. Because people miss that. So many people, we were talking about that earlier. When you go to social media, it's all about the money, chasing the bag, this, and that. And it's like, where do we go towards the fulfillment of what we're doing in life? If we're chasing the bag all the time, we're going to get tired because the bag doesn't look consistent for entrepreneurs.
yeah.
So to understand that I'm really hitting that one person and they're telling me this has improved this for me. My eczema is clearing up. My bumps and my acne is now going away. Why would you say that's so important to you?
That's important because to have a thing, and that thing is effective, and
Mm,
it helps someone, it is better, just to know that it's working for someone, it's helping them. It's not like chasing the bag. I'm never about chasing the bag, because first of all, my bag is always with me. My bag don't run from me, lady. No, no, no. My bag is always with me. It may be a little today and a lot tomorrow, but the bag stays. I'm not chasing the bag. Maybe because I have humble beginnings
mm-hmm,
growing up. I was raised in Jamaica. I was raised with, you you don't require, like, you don't need, the need is better than a want,
mm-hmm,
and you don't have to have this humongous amount of things for you to be happy, or for you to make it in life, or for you to have a purpose. So maybe that is one of the things that helped me to not, because when you go on with social media, you will see stuff where people have this humongous amount of boxes. I'm sending out this many boxes. But if you pay attention to that, you may lose what you why you're doing what you're doing. And I don't ever want to be the girl that look at it and is like, why is that not me? No, because what's for me, I know it's for me. And what's for them is for them. And I can't have their stuff. I have to have my stuff.
Mhm.
My blessing have to be me. So I'm staying in my lane with my blessing. And as long as I focus on the blessing that is for me, then all that would just it wouldn't wouldn't phase.
Mhm.
So from humble beginnings and growing up watching my mom working so hard, 9 kids, that lady blessed. No,
Yes, she is. Nine
I
kids.
couldn't do it. No, I couldn't. I don't know. The Lord touched her some kind of way, cause baby, that's 9 babies, and she worked hard,
Mm.
and just seeing her work ethic and stuff like that, and see that you work for what you work, and the joy, the stuff that she got joy from. I used to pay attention, like close attention. I
Mhm.
was one of them that was like this
Mhm.
to my mom.
Yeah.
Like everywhere she goes, I want to be there. I want to.
Mhm.
So that helps me a lot. Humble beginnings does.
That's just
Yeah.
beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to get into the storytelling portion of the podcast. You ready?
Uh-oh. Yes, I'm ready.
So, this is to me my favorite part because I feel like people always learn more about the guest, and a lot of resources are really pretty much given during this time. So, what is one high you can say you received either through life, business, whatever that means to you, where you can pat yourself on the back and like, Karen, you did that.
Whoa, how do I pick? I've been blessed.
Something.
I've been blessed. Believe me when I say I've been blessed.
I love it.
It's wow. How do you choose? How do you choose? Well, okay, I'm gonna give you two, kind of. Um, when I was pregnant with my daughter, I was 19. I had her when I was 20.
Mm-hmm.
And Lord, when you're a teenager and you're in that situation, you was like, "Whew." My mom was not near me. My mom was in Jamaica and I was living here. It was tough.
Mm-hmm.
I had high risk pregnancy, and in my head, I'm dying. I'm not living. I'm gonna die because the doctors were um telling me, sorry, you wanna call? The doctors were telling me, oh, the baby has issues and stuff like that, and had me scared out of my brain. And if I had listened to them, maybe she would not be here if I had listened to them. And it's the same goes for my son, where the doctors were telling me, "Oh, you're sick. You can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, not to have the baby." I was like, "No, there's no way you're gonna." I mean, twice. You can't tell me the same thing twice.
Right.
And when I was in those moments, I honestly didn't think I would make it. When I had my daughter, I was relieved. I was like, whew. I went through postpartum depression because I couldn't touch her.
Mm-hmm.
I was scared to touch her because in my head I'm gonna hurt her.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've been around babies all my life, family members, and when it came to mine, I wasn't able but I did overcome that. And then it sent me had with my son, pregnant with my son, it sent me back into that same spot again because of my illness, and they were telling me all these stuff that I was not with. So prayer help and always help. And the first time around was not as bad as the second time around. And that one had me a whole different level of bed rest, the whole thing.
Mhm.
And when I was going through it, I couldn't see beyond the moments of going through it. And and to see him be 20, about to be 21,
Right.
like what? I
Mhm.
did I did, and I overcome all the stuff that happened in between. I can say that holding on to my faith,
Mhm.
staying true to my belief, that
Mhm.
helped. And those are monumental stuff, that because there's a lot, when I think about a lot of women that get pregnant and don't have, it, the baby, lose the baby or stuff like that. It it I could feel for them.
Mhm.
And then when I turn and look, like, how close I came to having a miscarriage with my son,
Mhm.
and the bed rest and my feet in the air, the pillows, everything, the thing where they put you with your feet up so you don't, and you can't go anywhere, you can't do nothing, bed rest for 7 whole months. It's it humbles you in a way, and then it made me think of, the fact that I'm blessed, like, over. Sometimes I say I'm over blessed
Mhm.
because he's here. He's a pain in my butt, but he's here. So I honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. So those are two of the main ones that I could share. I have a whole lot, but that's a lot. That's a lot. But those two, no, for real,
That's
those
big.
two are like up here.
Mhm. That's
But I
big.
was silently going through it and not saying anything to anyone.
Mhm.
So that was one of the bigger things that made it harder. Because when you're going through stuff, sometimes it's good to have someone to lean on or talk to. No judgment zone,
Mhm.
judgment free zone, someone, that the shoulder. So, and both times I didn't have my mom close to me.
Mhm.
So it felt extra hard. I was thinking if she was with me, it would have been, because she's living in Jamaica and I'm living here. It was crazy. But I got through it, and I could feel her prayers from where she is.
Mm.
Nothing beat a praying mama.
Mm. Mm. Them prayer warriors. Mm.
Oh yeah. I'm a PK, so
Yes. Come on, PK. All right. So on the other end of the spectrum, what would you say would be a low moment? And let's do business because you share something really, really personal for the high moment. And I appreciate that too as well. Let's do a low moment to where you question, should I continue with KJJ Gold Lux? Or is this what I'm really supposed to be doing, Lord? I feel like I'm not getting to where I need to be, if that may be marketing, if that may be advertisement, or finding my target market, whatever that looks like. What was that low moment that made you question, should you push forward? And how did you push forward? Because, of course, we're here talking about your business today. And so go ahead and explain that to us.
one low moment was me making a huge batch of soap. And
What happened?
let me tell you, when you make when you're making stuff and you have your formula and you think it's down and everything is good, and you spend this much money to make a batch, and trust me, when the entire I doubled what I was going to make at the last minute,
Mhm.
and I'm looking at the thing, just looked like rocks in front of me, like a big glop of rock in front of me, and there's nothing. Like, I'm like, how do I fix this?
What was it
No,
supposed to
no,
be?
I was making soap. Like, I was making soap, but then there's this thing that you you know how you get overly confident, like, I've been doing it and I know I could do it, but
Mhm, mhm,
there's some fragrances that accelerate the the process, that speed up the process. And usually I test, like, make small, you make a small amount.
mhm,
But me,
mhm.
I was like, I'm making a big one because And it's the first day I was using that actual scent in soap, in the soap. When I tell you, I had to flip it, I had to cook it in a big crock pot, and that was mine, just me using it, not to be sold. So that whole, for a second, I was like, I can't do this. No, I cried. I literally cried because I said, I cannot do this.
Oh my.
I can't do this because everything that I did, it's gone. I mean, I've done research. I know that this can happen. That's
Mhm.
the whole purpose of test batching a small amount.
Right.
And I knew and I didn't. And I think I was mad at me because I knew better.
Wow.
And to make this big batch that smells really good, but I can't sell it. But at the end of the day, I can use it. And then when I thought about it, I was like, but I can use it.
Mhm.
It's not aesthetically pleasing. Like it doesn't look like this that, cute and pretty, but the effect, it still works.
So
It's
good.
just not pleasing. It's not pretty. Like what people call pretty, I guess. It's not what I actually wanted. And I've had a couple of those that it didn't it didn't work. It didn't, a simple thing as making, like, I make the I was making the air freshener stuff, wax melt, the wax
Mhm.
freshener, and I cut up all my oranges. The simplest thing. You would think it's just big stuff, but it's the simplest thing
Mhm.
that goes wrong that makes you like, if I can't do this, I put the oranges, like I slice them, I put them in the oven to
Mhm.
get them dried out, dehydrate them,
Mhm.
and I burnt them.
Oh, she gonna start laughing.
I burnt like they black. I
Oh,
don't know, like you, something that you do over and over in your head. It was like, but this batch, I just finished one and it was perfect, and the next one went in, and somehow I forgot to change the dial to put it to 200, and I had it at regular, like 270, 375 or 350. And I'm smelling the oranges smell so good in the house, and then
I know it did. I
I
know
said,
it.
but if I can't do the oranges, I can't do this because that's the simple thing. I can't do nothing. Like, I
Mhm.
honestly, like with the soap, I cried tears. With the
Mhm.
oranges, I just say forget it. I'm not making nothing. And for like 3 days, I didn't do none. I stopped. I was like, that's
Oh,
it.
man. How
Because
did
if
you
I
pick
can't,
yourself back up though?
um, I guess when you constantly pray,
Mhm.
and no matter how low my moments will get, and I pray, I have my quiet times and stuff like that. No matter how low I get, just sometimes it may be me reading a passage, or reading a scripture, or just praying, or just listening to my gospel music, or just something that gets me. It may be a simple thing. Like today, I was do I should have done more, but I was just not in the mood. And
Mhm.
I said, it was this. It's funny. I was on TikTok. I was scrolling. Like I'm supposed to be doing something and I'm not, but I was scrolling. But then this guy, when I scrolled, this guy came on. I don't even remember. I should have pressed it so I can remember to check like his page. But he said, how do you expect, he was doing a live, but I got to the live just when he said these words. How do you expect to elevate, to move up, to do, when you're sitting down and not doing what you're supposed to be doing?
Mm.
Hey, get out my head, sir. No, for real. I'm like, wait. So little things like that will pick me up,
Mhm.
will make me remember my purpose, make me remember. And then I have to make the stuff for myself too, because I have so much allergies to mainstream stuff.
Mhm.
it's easier for me to just do it for me. So I always have to remember first that I need soap to wash my body. I need stuff for myself. So
Mm.
that picks me up. That picks me up. But it's sometimes the simplest thing. As the man saying, you sitting there when you're supposed to be doing something and that elevate your life.
Mm.
Like get up. I was like, okay, sir, I heard you.
Yes, sir.
No, but it was for me. What like when you go to church and they say you take what's for you,
Hmm.
the message, the part that's yours, you take that part and you work on yourself with that part. Yeah, that
True.
part was mine today. So,
You got
so
preached over with TikTok.
yeah, I know the little things. It's always the little things.
Mhm.
It's always the little things. It's
Okay, so for the people that's listening, what would be one free advice that you would give them if they may want to start a business or if they want to particularly go into retail? Someone that's maybe struggling with finding their purpose in life, because as you mentioned, it was like a light bulb for you. Like, I'm already doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Now it's time to just put it out there. So, what type of advice do you have for somebody to take away from this episode?
um to listen to your inner voice. That's one. And try your best. Like the doubt will be there. It doesn't, the little voice that say, "Oh, you're not good enough," or "You're not." You have to find a way to shut that down and like listen to find the reason behind why you want to do what you're doing, what you want to do. As long as you have the reason behind it, the valid reason, not because, oh, I'm just gonna do this because my neighbor does it, my friend does it,
Mm.
this one does it, and she's doing good. No, the purpose. If you are in doubt, always go back to the purpose, the original purpose of why, your why, and then start from there. Don't if you have to write your why on the wall, like the board I have in my thing, write the why and always go back to the why. And slowly you can do it.
I love that so much. Because I tell myself that all the time, especially when I'm like, I'm tired, I want to take a nap. I'm like, girl, if you take a nap, you're probably going to miss out on somebody hearing something or celebrating with a company or somebody want to be on a podcast or, me consulting with my clients. I may miss it because I'm up here procrastinating or I don't feel like doing it, don't have the energy or whatever the case may be. So when I sit there and think about my why, it reminds me like, girl, get your butt up and it gives me some energy. So thank you for sharing. That was good. Okay, so you have a long list of products that you have. Soap, butter, like you said, fragrances, air fresheners. I mean, you have a list of things. And I saw one of your tutorials where you do is it called DIY, do it yourself?
Oh, DIY, yes.
You have a bunch of those out there. I'm like, you're just creative, okay? Just creative. So tell the people all of your products, how to purchase your products, your handlers, and what's next for you in KJJ Gold Lux.
um Thank you. I have, oh wow. It's, as you say, it's a list. Um okay, let me start with the body butter. Let me start with the body butter because the soaps and the body butters were the original OGs. So and
Okay.
right, so so okay, I have whipped, but like the light is the thing. I don't know if you can see it, but I'll send you some pictures. But that's the body butter, whipped body butter. That one is in champagne. And I have body polish. It's a body scrub.
Ooh.
So
Champagne.
I have that. Yes. Yes, I have champagne. I have lip gloss. I have soaps.
It's all good.
Okay, so the lotion fell, and somewhere back there, the lotion fell, and you can't make this up. You cannot make this up. So this is the eczema soap. It comes in unscented, and I have one that has essential oil, tea tree essential oil. It has it can be used on your face and body. So it has turmeric powder, activated charcoal, and it has moringa powder in there. So that's the one for eczema. This one is just a regular beauty bar, and it's scented with fragrance. And then this one is regular beauty and face bar, but this one is made with it gets the color from rose clay. So
Mm-hmm.
no, let me see what's the word. Not synthetic color. So this is rose clay, so that's how we got that color. And this one is unscented. I have a lot of stuff that's unscented,
Okay.
and maybe like I said, I started with me first, and um I get really bad migraines, so crazy scents is not good for me. Always give me it's a trigger of mine.
Mm-hmm.
So like me going into Bath and Body Works, it's a lot. It's a lot. I used to go there. It's a lot. I always the minute you get to the front, no. But so I have most of my items are unscented,
Okay.
and there's a few that have scent, but it's very light. Nothing over because I have to use it too, and I make it, and then I don't want to give someone a headache from getting too much of the scent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I have this is turmeric um and honey.
Mm-hmm.
This one it has lemon, turmeric, and honey, and that's a body scrub. And I didn't forget the guys. I have beard oil for the guys.
Come on for the
Tell
new
us I
lady.
remember. Yeah, so that's for the beard oil. And the only thing I put preservative in is my body scrubs,
Mm-hmm.
because water touching like in the shower and people may to prevent mold, and I use um a natural preservative. It's called Optifen. So I'm always transparent with my customers
Mm-hmm.
to let them know, so they can make informed decision if that's what they want, because you could always Google to check stuff like that. And
But you
I
still went
have
the safe route, so give yourself some props. You still went the safe route.
yeah, I did, because there's a lot of stuff that I found out that that are in the products that you could do without, but it still be effective.
Mm-hmm.
And found out that most of the stuff that the synthetic stuff, and that maybe are the stuff that we're allergic to, not the actual soap itself, what makes the soap, because it's basically shea butter. I use shea butter
Mm-hmm.
and different oils like avocado oil,
Mm-hmm.
and I do have some soaps that I use coconut oil in.
Mm-hmm.
Just not the one for me, but I do have some with that, and I don't use the palm oil, which is during my research I didn't feel like I needed to use that, because I could get it with olive oil, coconut oil. I have shea butter and castor oil and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it does work with those stuff, so I don't have to put um parabens and stuff in there, because those just give it extra shelf life sometimes. And and then when you're making it, to get it cheaper is what I noticed. Like, to make the product cheaper, you put those stuff in there so you can make a lot, and then you can sell it cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
But to put the regular natural stuff in it, you can't sell it as cheap, because yeah, so
That's
That's
really good that she shared that because some people will ask for prices, and I'm sure you received it. They'll ask for prices and be like, "Oh, you high," but it's like you don't know what we're putting into our products. It'd be different if I was going the cheap route. Would you want something for $1?
I know, like to get
Something
it,
different?
like you can make it for cheaper. You can make it for cheaper, but you would have to use the cheapest of the cheap stuff, and most of those are the synthetic ones. So the real ones are not the actual, the real thing. They have to charge a lot. And then for small businesses like us, it's a little harder because we make in small batches.
Mm-hmm.
So when people compare you to, like, oh, Dove selling it for $2, why are you selling it for $8? But Dove has a big factory. I don't. I'm in my kitchen.
Right.
So the amount that you can make, because your when you buy the stuff to make, like, there's no way I could buy a whole drum of grapeseed oil. I
Mm-hmm.
have to buy a couple gallon. That's what I could fit in my house.
Right.
So so the more you buy from, like, your wholesale places,
Mm-hmm.
the less it costs. The price is better with the more. So the smaller amount you buy, it's more expensive.
I can believe that because they
That
sell it by the
makes
book. Mm-hmm.
sense. So when you buy bulk, it's a little cheaper, but where would you put it? You need a warehouse. You need a storage facility. You need a storefront. You need something. But when you're working out of your house or your garage or your basement, you can't pack all that to make unless you're making one item.
Right. Because you got multiple. You got multiple over there. Okay.
I have a lot. I have a lot. I have rose. This is the face oil that I use on my face.
I love that. You have beautiful skin. So,
Oh,
as you guys watch this, not only listen, but also go to YouTube because she is definitely showing what the product looks like as far as packaging and things of that nature. And if you look at her skin, she has beautiful skin. Like she mentioned, she uses her own product on herself. So she's a freaking walking testimony herself. So definitely make sure that y'all support. So tell them your website and Instagram, Facebook, YouTube channel. Talking about she shop.
oh my word. Okay, so okay, you can find me at www.kjjgoldluxe.com. kjjgoldlux.com. And it's the same name for Instagram, kjjgoldlux, and on TikTok or Facebook, it's the same handle. The only handle that's different is my YouTube channel is KJJ Gold. And that's my original name. When I started my business, I actually added the Lux to that. So
Why did you just for luxury and like a taste of luxury to it? Why did you add it? Okay, look at me being spot on.
yeah, for just I want it because the K is Karen, my daughter is Jaquana, my son is Jamal, so that's the J's.
Hmm.
And Gold. So it was always KJJ Gold.
Hmm.
And I've had that name for years. And then when I started the business, I added Lux to it. That's
Love
so,
it.
so it was named after the three of us.
That's beautiful. All right, so we are towards the end of the conversation. This segment is called Motivational Moment. It could be a quote, a Bible verse, anything that just sparks my eye. I bring it on the show. I read it. I say what I think about it. You share your thoughts, and it's a wrap from there. And so today it is a quote. Do something today that your future self will thank you for. And that's by Sean Patrick Flannery. So when I first read this quote, I thought about this practice that I did. Shout out to Latrice Love. She has it's a vegan lip line, and she did a wellness summit. I think towards the end of the summit, we had to write our future self had to write a letter to ourselves where we are now. And soon as I read that, I was thinking about the letter that I wrote myself. And it was pretty much encouraging words like, you're gonna go through some hard times. There's gonna be some rough times. There's gonna be doubts. There's gonna be some, I don't want to say failures, but there's gonna be some hurdles that you're gonna jump over. But at the end of the day, my future self was saying that it's all gonna be worth it. And so when I read that, that's the thing that I was thinking of as far as that letter is because there's a purpose for everything that we do in life. That's why I'm so strategic and I'm being more intentional on how I move. So when I do look back, I can say, okay, that was a lesson that I learned, or that was a really good, deal that I made, or that was, for an example, a good person that I was able to network with and learn with and things of that nature. And so those moments where I do look back, I can say you did really good. Like that journey was for a certain purpose. You reached that destination. Now you're on to the next destination and things of that nature. And so when I read that, I was just thinking, what can I do now to prepare myself for the future? So what about you? What are your thoughts about that quote?
Wow, I love that. That quote is that's good. Um, for me, like my future self looking back to now, I think I would tell myself to focus on the task that, when I have a t-shirt, let me go to that t-shirt. I purchased it from another small business owner. And the minute I saw the t-shirt, I say, yeah, that's me. It's saying, like it's remember what you pray for.
Mm-hmm.
So, like the things that I prayed for and that are coming through, I want to always tell myself, be grateful for the
Mm-hmm.
things that you prayed for that you received.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, always, always.
That's so good. And I just love your prayer box. That just that just really filled me
I
up.
need to make more. I need to make more. I've made some, and I really do need to make some more.
It just filled me up when you were talking about that. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to make me a prayer box because it reminds you as far as being gratitude and being obedient.
Yeah.
And then when you look at it to say, wow, God, you blessed me with that, it's because I was being obedient, you know? You told me to do this and I did it. And I was being faithful to knowing that everything will be okay. All my needs will be met as long as I follow you. And so as you were talking about that, I was like, oh my gosh, that was just so beautiful. But that's the end of the conversation today. Did you have any last nuggets that you wanted to share? Anything that you feel like I may have forgot about?
Um. First of all, thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Yeah. Just when you're in school and they say follow your dreams,
Mm-hmm.
we always look at it like, yeah, but I just wanted to say to all your listeners to listen to that inner voice. Take a second to focus on your inner voice and be true to yourself first, and it will all fall into place.
Beautiful. Well, I thank you so much, Karen, for coming through today. I want to thank you guys and gals for listening to another episode of What's Good Podcast. If you're listening to this morning, noon, evening, or night, have a great one, and we will see you guys next time.
Thank you.